Well, hi everybody, and welcome to another guide. This is the follow-up guide to spring flowers. It's about 5 weeks since I did the first guide, and since then everything's just been getting better and better and better. And today I'm going to take you to one of my favourite places for looking for wildflowers, which is on the way up to Brent Hill. So I'm heading up there, and unfortunately my ever dependable cameraman has let me down, so this time I'm joined by my surrogate camera lady, Esther. Say hello, Esther.
Hello.
And you know, there's lots of things that we're already familiar with. So you know, we know the bluebells. This is a sort of typical cow parsley. This is what it looks like, sort of sticking out all the way down along the hedgerows here. And there's some campion in here. But we're going to be looking at some new flowers today, so we're all going to have to concentrate really hard. Okay, right, come on then, let's see what we can find. Well, I haven't got very far and I'm already distracted, and there's just so much to see. But first of all, there's this tree here which caught my eye, and this is a sycamore, and it's one of the maple family, and you can see that's got a leaf that looks very much like the Canada flag. The sycamore is actually not a native tree. Apparently it was introduced by the Romans. There is a native maple tree, field maple, and it's got the leaves are the same shape, they're a lot smaller. But what actually distracted me was underneath it here. I was thinking we were going to be doing lots of pink and yellow flowers today, but this blue one is it's everywhere. It's looking really lovely, and the way to recognise it, it's got these sort of two little white antennae sticking out of the flowers here. Like, I always think of these as antennae, and these are speedwells. And there's a few different species of speedwell. This one's called Germander speedwell, but speedwell's good enough for today, I think. Anyway, no more distractions. We've got to get over there. Right, this is definitely the very last distraction, but it's worthwhile, this one, because you can see dotted along the top of this hedgerow we've got some rather nice purple flowers here, and these are orchids, and they're purple, and they're one of the first of the orchids to come out. And come here, Esther. They've also got these quite distinctive spots on the leaves that you can see there, and these are early purple orchids, looking very glamorous. Well, here's another bit of that typical cow parsley invasion, looking nice with the bluebells and the stitchwort here. Another one that we've met before. Lovely. But also just here on the ends, and they're probably out if you live a little bit nearer to sea level, but I've been watching these ones now growing for about 4 or 5 weeks. They've just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the action is about to start, and this is going to be a beautiful foxglove. I've seen one out so far on the lanes around here, but there's going to be a ton of them any day now. Well, this is looking rather nice, I think, and I once met a tawny owl come flying down this green corridor towards me about a couple of years ago. Very nice, and it's very lush, and it's about living in the rainforest down here in Devon. But I've got a couple of new friends to introduce you to, a couple of the pink flowers. So we've met pink red campions, and we've got this one here. Okay, so this is in the geranium family, and it's got a boy's name to help you remember it. It's called Herb Robert, and the leaves are quite feathery, really, I suppose would be a way to describe them, and they're not unlike the cow parsley when it first starts off. So this is Herb Robert, and you get it in nice clumps of this, and then just in, well, right here actually, this is another one. The flowers are a little bit paler, and this one particularly likes shadier, damper spots, so somewhere like this is the perfect place to look for it. And this is pink purslane, and this one's really the best way of identifying this one is by looking at these leaves, which come in these opposite pairs, and they sit behind the flowers there, and they've got a kind of slightly rubbery feel to them compared to some leaves. So that's pink purslane, and this one over here, Herb Robert. Well, if you saw my other spring flower guide, we looked at a blackthorn tree, which was the first of the rose family of the white flowers to come into blossom on a tree, and this is the second one really. So this is a hawthorn, and like the blackthorn, it's got these vicious little spikes on it, and they really can do you a bit of damage. And it's also got these leaves that are, I sort of think of them as like almost like miniature Canada flags. And this one is sometimes also called the May tree, or this is sometimes called May blossom, because this is the time of year in May. We're on May the 15th now, so this is the time of year when the hawthorns are in blossom. Also, they're also edible, in fact, and they're known as bread and cheese. And the leaves are the bread, and the flowers are the cheese. Quite nice. Chaffinch. Right here, looking, this is another one. This is a yellow one here, and this one looks very much like a nettle, and the leaves are very nettle-like. They're a bit smaller, and it's not actually in the nettle family. It's in the dead nettle family, and it's got these yellow flowers clustered all the way up to the top. And this is yellow archangel, or just archangel, I call it. But yeah, one that looks like a nettle that's got yellow flowers on it, archangel. So this call is also the call of a chaffinch, and this is called its rain song. And some people say that this means that it's going to rain, although the forecast is dry for the next few days. It's quite noisy. Okay, so now there's a whole load of loveliness, and we've met most of it now, but you're going to have to really concentrate, especially you, Auntie Mia. Okay, right, here we are. So we've got some bluebells here, and we've got some red campion, looking very nice with the bladders behind the petals there, and we've got some of this Herb Robert that we met not so long ago, and that's got these feathery leaves and the petals with 5 petals on each flower. And then as we come back along here, we've got some of the stitchwort, and then down here this lovely patch of purslane with the leaves in the opposite pairs, the slightly rubbery pairs in the leaves. And then we keep on coming, we've got some, this is the garlic mustard, and if you're not sure about this one, you can just have a little scrunch up of it. It smells very garlicky, delicious in cheese sandwiches. Cow parsley. This is another one of the umbellifers. This is the biggest one. This is going to be hogweed, same family as the cow parsley. We'll have a big white flower on it in a couple of weeks from now. And then more purslane, lots of purslane. And then in here, we've got a new one. This is the last of the pink flowers that I want to show you today. It's got a smaller flower than the other ones we've seen, and it's a bit brighter pink, and it's got 5 petals on it like the others. But the really distinctive thing about this is these leaves, which are very sort of, I sort of think of them as scallop shaped for some reason, like scallop shells. And this is in the same family as the Herb Robert, so this is another geranium, and this is one of the cranesbills, and this one is called shiny cranesbill. So the leaves, that's how we're going to distinguish between these pink ones that we've learnt today. So we've got another yellow flower here, and this one's very well known, of course, and it's Buttercup, and most people would recognise Buttercup, but there's lots of different Buttercups, and we met Lesser Celandine, you might remember if you saw my first guide, and this one is called Creeping Buttercup, and because it tends to spread itself out, And the leaves look like this, and they're kind of almost trifoliate in a way. And there's another one that looks quite similar, which is called bulbous buttercup. And the difference is that underneath the flowers here, these bits here are the sepals, which were the leafy bits that were protecting the bud before it went into flower. And on a creeping buttercup, you've got the flower like this, and the sepals point up and sort of cup it underneath. And on the bulbous buttercup, the flower sits like that, and the sepals point downwards. So you can see that these are all creeping buttercup because the sepals are all cupping up underneath the flower. And it looks very nice in here with the stitch work, doesn't it? With the greater stitch work. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that. And there's just so much to learn with flowers, and it doesn't really matter if you don't learn them all at once, but each time you go out for a walk, maybe try and remember one more or learn one more, and then you just sort of gradually build up this knowledge, and it's great fun, and it's really enjoyable. So anyway, if you've enjoyed it, please look out for my other videos and give me the thumbs up, and I hope I'll see you really soon. Okay, bye. Well done. You've watched it to the very end, and as a reward I've got a bonus flower for you, and it's this one in here, and it's a little yellow one, and it grows lying along the ground like this, and the correct term for that is prostrate, which is a good word for lying down. And the easiest way to recognise this one is that, like the purslane, it has its leaves in opposite pairs, but it also has the flower on a very slender little stalk there, and it has 5 yellow petals always in a wheel, and this one is yellow pimpernel. So you can impress your friends with that one.